All right, welcome to the class. We're going to start our processing activity, and I have some printouts for you, so I'm going to just pass them out. All right, so everybody go into Haiku right now. Go into Computer Science for All. And on the left side, you will see a page called Processing. And inside that page, there's another page. So there's a sub-page called Coordinate Systems and Drawing Shapes. All right. Now, a lot of the things that I'm actually going to show you right now are actually in that page. A lot of the information is there. So if you want to take a look at it, you know now where to find it. Okay. It's in Haiku. So let me talk to you about this. You have received a sheet like this one, right, which has a lot of numbers at the top and a lot of numbers on the side. If you can help me with your pencil or your pen, you please put at the top that the numbers represent the x-axis. Numbers at the top is x-axis, and the numbers on the side represent the y-axis. So the page has numbers, and it actually represents the numbers that you would normally see if you use in processing a window that has a width and a certain height. So I'm going to kind of draw it over here on the board, and I'm going to show you a couple of things. So imagine this is the big paper that you have right now. From 0, it goes to the right. This represents the x-axis. And it goes all the way to, I think, is it like 800? 800, okay. So you have here 800. And then you have the y-axis represented here from 0 all the way down to around 700, right? 600, okay, 600. Okay, now, last time we learned how to write some instructions, okay? So we looked at, for example, how to use rect, right? And rect requires 4 numbers inside. So I'm going to put x and y, which represent the actual coordinate on this, like in this paper. And then it also requires the width. This is the W for width, and then the H for the height. And you have to always end every command with a semicolon. All right? We saw this one. We saw ellipse, I think. Did we see this one? Ellipse 2? Okay. So it's exactly the same, x and y, w, and h, because it also has a width and height. Now, what I'm going to show you today is a bit different. I'm going to put this right here. Okay? This is only a window of size 0 to 6 and 0 to 6. So it's a square, and you can see the dimensions over here. So rect and ellipse, you know how to use, but there are some variations that you can use. There are other instructions that accompany rect and ellipse. So if you look in, now open your computers and look in the page that I was showing you, on the right side at the bottom. So if you go to the page that has the coordinate systems, on the right side at the bottom, there are some instructions there. Some instructions that actually we have not seen yet. So who can tell me, for example, which instructions we have not seen yet? Okay, point. If you use point, point is going to put a little dot. So let's say that I write in my code right here. Let's say this is my program, and this is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3. If I write point, and then I put between parentheses a number, let's say 3, 2, if I do this instruction right here, what will happen is on the screen you will see on 3x and 2y a little dot on the screen. So you can represent dots. We can also represent rectangles, and we can also represent ellipses. Which instructions are new? Yes? Okay, line. Line would be, if I use line, for example, I need to use an initial, so I'm going to call it x1, one first starting point, and then I also need an ending point. So if I represent that by x2, I can have also something like this. So for example, if I were to write an instruction like line, parentheses, let's do 3, 2, and then comma, and I do 1,5 like this, it would actually draw a line from this point 3,2 to 1,5, which would be this, and it will draw a line right here. So this line right, is represented by the initial point and the ending point. Those two join together and they form a line. Okay, so it's really simple to actually make a line, but you have to have a starting point which is x1 and y1, and you have to have an ending point which is x2 and y2. All right, so those are some new instructions. What else is there that we didn't talk about last time? Okay, rect mode, very good. Now this time there are some instructions, rect mode, and it's written with a capital M. And between rect mode, you can write a couple of things. What is the first one that you can write between the parentheses? You have it there on the screen. Rect mode, center. Okay. So if you use center, and you have to write center with capital letters as well, what will happen is if you put that instruction before any rectangle, what it will do is it's going to draw the rectangle with the point of reference as the center of the rectangle. So for example, if I want to draw, for example, this square here, right? Look at this little square right here. If I want to draw that in my drawing, I can easily say, okay, I want to draw this. I know my center point is going to be that. So I can use, in the line of instruction here, I can say, all right, rect mode, and then I put center. And after that, after I do that, because I set and say that from now on, every time I put a rectangle, it's always going to use the center point as the location. So if I do something like, this would be 2 and 4, this would be 2, and this would be 2. So if I say, if you put 3,2 and then you say 2,2, because rect needs 4 numbers, the first 2 numbers indicate the exact position of the starting point. So that would be 3,2, and then because I do 2,2, it would draw 2 and then 2 and complete the entire rectangle as if it were like a square. The default is the actual corner position of the rectangle. So if I were to draw this rectangle using this as a corner, I have to say that the rectangle has to start at 2, 1. So if I put rect 2, 1, that would be this point. And because I'm using corner, it's actually going to draw the square 2, 2 from the corner that I specify. There's one more variation. Apart from corner and apart from center, there's one more. Yes? Corners with an S, right? So if you use rect mode and you put between parentheses corners like this with an S, this is a different instruction. What it does is you can draw this kind of exactly the same square, but doing it this way. You put the top left corner first, the exact location, which in this case would be 2, 1. So if I put rect 2, 1, that represents this point right here. And then you need to put the bottom right corner, which in this case would be this one here. This is 4, 3. So if I put 4, 3, this actual instruction will draw the same rectangle. The same thing happens with ellipse. Ellipse, as you can see in the instructions, has, again, what does ellipse have? It has center and corner. Does it have corners too? The 3? Okay, so you can use any of those combinations. As long as you use the instruction before you actually want to make the drawing, you're going to get what you want. Okay? So what is it that I want you to do today? I want you to get the piece of paper. Now this is a very big, like it's an 8 100 by 600 size window. And you have to make a drawing here using the instructions, combining the instructions of rect, ellipse, line, point, everything we have seen to be able to make a drawing here. Okay, that's part of your work, and we're going to start doing that today. So all of you are going to open up processing, and you're going to start, first of all, getting an idea. Draw something here, get an idea with the lines and the rectangles and the ellipses, get an idea of what you can actually draw, and then try to code that and make it into a program. All right? All right, that's it. Let's get to work.